and He mingles it with your smelly prayers. So therefore, His fragrant prayer and my smelly prayer become an integral part of the whole. And that's why she used the word, He espoused our prayer request. You see, it's mingling, it's marrying, becoming one of the whole. See? Isn't it awesome? And then the fragrance that wafts all the way from this cross, from the sacrifice of Jesus, all the way to sanctuary in the form of fragrant prayers for us, descend to the earth where we are, in our witness. Our witness to be fragrant. And what's the text for that? 2 Corinthians 2:14 and 15. 2 Corinthians 2:14 and 15. And what does it say? That the Apostle Paul says what? He says, but thanks be to God, who in Christ always leads us in triumphal procession. I'm translating from the Greek here. And through us, He diffuses the fragrance of His knowledge in every place. For we are the aroma of Christ, for those who are being saved and those who are lost. Wow. Witness, our witness is like spreading sweet fragrance. My witness, with God's help to the redneck, was diffusing sweet fragrance. That's why his heart was touched and melted, not because of me, but because of the fragrance of Jesus. Now notice in this verse how beautiful it is. We are marching with Jesus' triumphal procession. And the Apostle Paul is using the analogy of the victorious Roman general. Whenever a victorious Roman general came into the gates of Rome, he was welcomed by trumpeters, VIPs, senators, and also people who carried censers with burning incense. And the people within Rome and outside the city walls smelled the fragrance of victory in the air. And the Apostle Paul applying to us, he says, Jesus, our victorious general. We are always marching with Jesus. And we are diffusing His fragrance, the fragrance of His knowledge, where? Everywhere. When? Always. Why? Because it's like breathing. Breathing. Isn't that a great honor? We're called upon to diffuse the sweet fragrance of Jesus. We're called upon to be the aroma of Christ. You and I are supposed to be the aroma of Christ. How is that possible for us? We don't smell very good. But when we feed on Jesus, we smell like Jesus. When we pray with Jesus, we smell like Jesus. He fragrances our prayers. He fragrances our lives. You know, just like we are what we eat, we smell like what we eat. I have a student who eats raw garlic. A lot of it. And he never gets a cold. But you see, before I see him in my office when he walks in, I could tell it's him. Because he's breathing out that stuff. It's interesting, Ellen White made a comment on this, and she said, when Jesus, the bread of life, fills us, we breathe forth His fragrance. Breathe it forth. When I was in the mission field in Africa, my daughter Marla was only 3. And we had a lot of tropical fruit, even in our backyard. Mangoes, passion fruit, papayas. Are you familiar with that? Especially there's a big papaya tree in our yard. And the kind of papaya, it was like honeydew, round, big, with clusters. And then my daughter and I had a little covenant together. Whenever a papaya ripened together, we'll pick it together and eat it together. It was just a little ritual we had. And by the way, that particular papaya, when it ripened on the tree, oh my, the aroma was wonderful. The taste was awesome. I can't describe how wonderful it tasted and smelled. So, one day I came home from the division office where I worked. I didn't have lunch that day and I was very hungry. And my family was gone. They're stuck in the traffic downtown for a long time. And then I saw this papaya at the bottom, yellow, orange, big like this, like honeydew. And my mouth started watering. I said, no, but I promised my daughter we'll pick it together and eat together. I waited another half hour, and finally the papaya started calling on me. Please pick me. Please pick me. Please pick me. So I put a ladder up and I picked it, and I put it in the freezer to get cold, because when it really got cold, it tastes even better. But before it froze, I took it out. Still my family wasn't there. We didn't have cell phones at that time. I didn't know where they were. And I look at it and my mouth started watering. I said, you know something? I don't want to wait till my daughter comes. I want us to eat the moment she arrives here. So I took a big bowl and I peeled the papaya. The aroma was hitting my nostrils. I cut it into about 21 pieces, filled the bowl. I said, you know something? I'll eat one piece. She would not know the difference. And before you know it, I ate the whole thing. I can't believe it. I ate the whole thing. I can't believe it. And I really enjoyed myself, but I felt guilty inside. So I tried to hide my guilt. So what do you think I did? Because I thought she was only 3. How would she know? I could distract her with something else. But I have a smart daughter, just like her mother. Musical, and she is finishing her PhD. I mean, she's a smart girl. She was only 3. I didn't know she was that smart. So what did I do to hide the evidence? I washed my hands, took a sponge and wiped the table, took all the peelings from papaya, and I went to the big garbage can in the kitchen. I never done that before. I'll never do it again. And I dug to the bottom and I hid the evidence. In half an hour, my daughter and her mother arrived. Daddy, come here. Come here, Daddy, come here. A terrible man stole our papaya. Do you know who this man is? Oh, Ma, it would be nice to find out. I wonder who it is. I distracted with her toys. She was playing. And then another ritual we had in the evening, that my daughter and I, played horsey together. She would ride on my back. We'd roll on the carpet and all of that. And then her head came close to my mouth. And she stopped. And she said, Daddy? Daddy? What? She said, you are the man. I said, what do you mean I'm the man? She said, Daddy, you are the man who ate the papaya. How do you know that? How could you accuse me of such a thing? You never saw me do that. You have no witness. She said, Daddy, don't be silly. Please open your mouth. Please open your mouth. Can you believe it? She put her nose right. I won't do that to you. She put her nose right into my mouth. She said, Daddy, breathe. So I said, breathe. Oh, Daddy. You smell like papaya. Because I don't need any evidence. Why? Because you're full of the stuff. And I thought to myself, if you want to smell like Jesus, be filled with Jesus. Feed on Jesus. You cannot fake it. You cannot pretend. If you feed on the world, you breathe out the odors of the world. If you feed on Jesus, you breathe out the fragrance of Jesus. Is your life, my life, fragrance by Jesus? Are our prayers fragrance by Jesus? Is our witness fragrance by Jesus? Let me tell you something. I give all the credit to Jesus. If my witness to the redneck wasn't fragranced by Jesus, then this redneck would have given this fern a smack in the nose. You don't mess with rednecks. I mean, the Lord has to be with you. And the fragrance of the witness melted his heart. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Now, 2:18 again. Look at the 2/3 down. No sooner does the child of God approach the mercy seat than he becomes the client of the great advocate. At his first utterance of penitence and appeal for pardon, Christ espouses his case and makes it his own, presenting the supplication before the Father as his own request. I'm not making this up, it's all here. This testimony is volume 6, page 364. Then there is another place I want to share with you. Page 211. Okay, that's really wonderful here. 211. Middle of the page. Let me tell you what happens to me. Though I'm an ordained minister, a theology professor, I've had a lot of experience working with people, yet the devil is after me. Do you know the devil is after me? He's not after you, right? He's just after me. You know, he was after Jesus. After he tempted in the wilderness, he waited for an opportune time. Even with Jesus. If he waits for an opportune time, even with Jesus, he's going to find an opportune time in your life. At the time when you're most vulnerable. This is what I do. This is what I do. I know the source. When I have feelings of discouragement, like ready to give up, I'm not worthy, I'll not make it, the source is what? Satan or Christ? Satan. So this is what I do now, because Christ is my advocate, he's my lawyer. By the way, do you know we have a good lawyer? He never loses a case if we trust him. He never loses a case. If Johnny Cochran won the case for O.J. Simpson, Christ can win the case for us. Amen. This is what happened. So when Satan comes to me at an opportune time, we are in this great controversy, the court of the great controversy. Jesus is my defense lawyer, Satan is my prosecutor, and I'm the defendant, right? I want to be a good defendant. Do defendants talk to their prosecutors in a court of law? No. They talk to their defense lawyers. Because anything they say, the prosecutor will use against them. So this is what I say. And you know, sometimes people hear me. I try to do it when I'm by myself. Because otherwise people think I'm talking to myself. They think only crazy people talk to themselves. But you know, I pray to God sometimes audibly when I'm in the car. I want to serve notice when Satan and his angels what I'm about. So this is what I say. When Satan wants to talk to me, the first thing I say, you got to see my lawyer. See my lawyer. That's all. You heard what I said, see my lawyer. Sometimes I do it differently. Whenever I have feelings of discouragement, you know, difficulty, I'm ready to give up. Satan is discouraging me. This is what I do. The first thing I do is I look at Jesus, my defense lawyer. Jesus, he's at it again. See, that's very disarming, by the way. He's at it again. Here he goes again. Like Jesus, and I know his strategy. Jesus, here he goes again. Satan does. Would you please take care of him? That's all I said. That's all Jesus needs to hear. You know, remember the debate between the President Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan? Remember that?
There you go again.
Yeah. You know, Jimmy Carter is very smart, by the way. He studied what? Nuclear engineering. Very smart. Top of his class. You know, Ronald Reagan, I mean, would you say he was smart? I mean, he was an actor. I don't know how successful he was in acting, but he was an actor. And so now watch the strategy of Reagan, smart strategy. He let Jimmy Carter wax eloquent about all this sophisticated science and strategies. And after he finished his long speech, Ronald Reagan kind of wobbles his head like this. He said, well, here he goes again. That's all he said. Disarmed him completely. Like what a fool. Look, he is just full of words. There he's at again. You know, his hobby horse here. If he succeeded in that debate by just saying that, how much more when we say, Jesus, my great advocate. He is at it again. There he goes again. Would you please take care of him? And if Satan comes to you, say, see my lawyer. Oh, I tell you, that helps me a lot. If he comes again, I told you, see my lawyer. If you have beef with me, if you have an issue, see my lawyer. And there is a story about that here, middle of page 211. A young girl who daily submitted herself to Christ. I guess we still have, 20 minutes or so? Christ in prayer and supplication. was asked, what do you do when Satan comes knocking at your heart's door? So that means she is submitted to Jesus. She's right there with Jesus. But you know something? Satan knocks at the door of our heart even when we are submitted to Jesus. Some people are really not careful about that. Because I'm submitted to Jesus, I am immune from Satan. We still have the freedom of choice. We still live in this world. Let me tell you, you can be secure in your home, but anybody can knock at the door of your house.
That's right.
A corporator, a minister, a criminal, an insurance agent. Anybody can knock the door of your house. You have a choice not to open or to open. So while we are with Jesus, while this girl was with Jesus, submitted to him, the devil comes to knock the door of her heart. And you know, she right away recognizes his knock. You can too. Feelings of despair, discouragement, giving up, is all from Satan. He is there to put people down. Christ